Welcome to the second episode of Judged by Blind. I know things were delayed, I had some shit going on, but nonetheless, let's get right the fuck into it. So, this first image actually really blows me away. It may seem so simple, it's something of a really modern setting. It's literally depicts our future, and you can see every single person has their phone out and they're mesmerized by this robot dog, and it's really just depicts how much technology has really taken over our world. Like, if this kind of photo was taken about 60 years ago, say like, I don't know, 1960s or something, I'll redo this photo. So there's a little girl patting a dog, a real dog, and you've probably got someone playing with toy guns or something, and maybe someone's riding a horse in the background. You know, it's just totally different. But in this environment, you've literally just got every single person on their phone and they're mesmerized by a machine. So that just goes to show how fucked up this world has become. This one looks like it's taken in a cinema. Now, what I really like about this image is the isolation. The isolation and the contrast rims that you get, obviously, from, I'm guessing, the screen. It looks like a theatre to me, and obviously it must have been a shit fucking movie because there's only one person, well, two people watching. And I think this is, the only thing that's kind of bugging me is that slight off-center with the chair there. It's like kind of, it's centered, but the left side has more of a gap than the right side, so that's something that does bug me, and it does give it a less point. But other than that, I like how the guy's off-center, because if it was just in the middle, it'd kind of be like too cliche and just way too perfect. So the imperfect, non-centered framing, or whatever, where the subject's placed, makes it a lot better. And what's also pretty funny and nice is that the light reflects off his bald head. So that's a nice touch. This one's doesn't look like there's really anything happening. It's obviously taken in COVID time, so I'd assume maybe 2 years ago. There's an old man in a mask talking to some other bloke at a tram stop, and it's got some cinematic inspired grading, which is quite nice actually. It looks pretty nice, but other than that, you can't really see the facial expressions. You can't really tell what's really going on. Like, there's nothing really special going on. You've got a nice depth of field. I'd say maybe, I don't know, 3.5, 2.8 at the most. But yeah, that doesn't really give much for me. This one also doesn't really give much to me right off the bat. It's literally just some like shattered glass. And you can use shattered glass in a good way. Like, for example, if you're at like F14 or something, and there's someone walking past, and it's say it's, I don't know, it's a really gritty window, and you've got like a street scene in the background, and it's reflecting, and you line up the like broken glass with someone's head or like their eye or something, then it could work a lot better. But this one, there's just two people, and like it's in the middle. It doesn't really work in my opinion. This one's quite cool. I like the reflection. What's happening on the right there is kind of off-putting. I feel like this would work better if it was just purely a reflection and there wasn't just these two people in the background talking. Like, it doesn't really, I don't know, it's not giving. Like, the reflection itself is nice, and the contrast and everything, and the timing for it, but I feel like it's just wasn't utilized well enough with this. I don't know, this composition just doesn't do it for me. It's a nice photo though. I like what they're trying to go for with the reflection, but I think it just needs to be utilized a bit better. Now this one, I'm not sure if this is a diptych or if this is literally a pole. No, that's definitely not one photo. That can't be one photo. I assume this is a diptych, and if it is, it works really well actually. I like how the pole, the street pole is to the right of the image and the person is to the left of the image, with you can see some stairs on the right, which gives a mystery of like loneliness, and you know, they're obviously isolated in some big hall type of place. For storytelling, it's not really that philosophical. Like, you could, I mean, I guess if you really looked into it, you could be philosophical, but from a fine arts perspective, it does look pretty good, and I still assume it's a diptych, and if it's not, then nah, it can't be, so I'm just going to scrap that. It's a nice diptych. This one is taken at some kind of concert or festival or some kind of thing where someone's on stage performing. That's a really awesome pose that they've got there, and a nice slow angle with their hands in the air and the light reflecting onto her, I think. The only thing that could be better, in my opinion, is the mid-tones on the face, and that could have a bit more white. They look a bit grey and subdued, in my opinion. But other than that, it's a good gesture, and it's a great action shot of whatever's going on here. I assume some kind of event at a concert or whatever. This one is at a beach, and there's lots of seagulls, and it looks like there's two people playing in the water. There's two people playing in the water right on the sun streak. So, okay. So what he's done is he's obviously either seen these children walking to the shore, and he spotted that light, and he's probably thought that he'd capture them in that streak of light, because literally everything else is just black. There is people on the beach there, if you look closely, but they're all just blacked out. The seagulls are also a nice touch, but they're still kind of blacked out. But I do think this is just way too black. I do like the idea of the streak of light hitting the water there and showcasing the two children in the water, but I think it's just way too black, and I think it's just way overdone. And the black sky, it's the whole thing's black. The only thing that's white is that little tiny thing there. So I think just the contrast idea, it's just utilized way too far-fetched, but it is a nice scene. Now this one's gorgeous. I think this one has eye contact. I'm not the biggest fan of eye contact because I think it ruins a moment. But for things like this, it can look nice and it can work. I really love the slight motion blur here. I assume it's like something like 130, 125, somewhere around there. It's framed literally perfectly, and I love the way she's looking. I love her outfit. I love the glass on her head. The focus and the blur is perfectly on them. And yeah, I think this is overall a really nice shot. There's not really too much to say about this one other than it looks really nice and it works. Because it's not really a moment in time. It's a nice scene. It looks like somewhere in Europe or the UK because of the old cobblestone buildings. It's a really nice shot, but there's nothing too much to it, street scene wise. But for artistic, in an artistic sense, it's a really nice photo. This one, I know exactly what this picture's inspired by. I don't even need to say anything. This is literally the Henri Cartier-Bresson of Melbourne, and it looks like there's some nice light peeking through there too. But I literally know, and I have the photo with me actually, if I can find it amongst these. Here we go. I guarantee you that that's the photo that it's been inspired by. It's a great photo. It's actually a photo that's inspired a lot of street photographers. Although this photo actually wasn't even a street photo because it was posed. I think he got his friend to go around the block. But I can see he's obviously tried to do the same kind of framing except the opposite way, and he's done a slower shutter and got the man walking. So instead of using a bike, he's using a man. And I think it works really well. Not as good as, I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to replicate something as good as what Bresson did with that bike shot. But the idea here, it does work and it is a good shot. So well done for the emulation of the Bresson shot. Now this is just a couple at a church or some kind of museum or something, sitting down, either taking a selfie or watching something. This angle is really bad in my opinion. It's firstly they're to the side and they're angled, and this isn't the type of angle where a Dutch angle works. This is literally just a crooked shot and non-centered, which I know you don't have to center photos, but something like this, it's just clearly that it's just a lazy shot. There's nothing really to it. Like, I don't really care about people taking a selfie, in my opinion. I don't know, it might be interesting to you. But if you wanted to at least make your shot better, I'd say step back 2 or 3 steps, go in the middle and center them, because what you've tried to achieve here has gone horribly wrong. So sorry, but that's the truth. And I think this is the last shot here, and this is actually a really cool scene. You've got a man smoking a cigar. No, a cigarette or a joint or something. I don't know. I have no idea where this kind of shot will be taken, but I really love that. It looks like some kind of business meeting or consultation or whatever the hell you call it. Yeah, they're all having a cigarette, they're having a smoke, and I really love all their stances. So he's stood like that outside with his legs spread. She's sitting on the wall with her leg like that, and the other one's on the other side. And they all just correlate with each other. It looks really good. And then in the background, you've got 2 people just walking, talking. Now, what does ruin this image is those 2 people. I feel like if it was at least one person, it would make it a lot more balanced. But when there's 2 people like that and they're like covering each other like that, it's just annoying. And anytime you're ever trying to do a minimalistic photo or you're trying to frame something that involves people, in my opinion, when you've got 2 people crossing like that, it's just way too muddy, and it really doesn't work. It just looks stupid in my opinion, and cluttered. If there was 2 people, you want them at least like spaced out from each other. But I think this shot, like the moment itself is really good. I just feel like those 2 people ruin it. And perhaps if you cropped it to maybe not include them, it would be better. Because yeah, they're kind of distracting, and although it's a great composition point of view, like it's a good golden ratio if there was only one person there, but because there's 2, I would have cropped that and had it as that. And that's the end of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and here are the winners. In first place we have Yuri. Now, as I said before, this is just a really great depiction of our time, and I think in quite a few years this will stand out as a photo that, I don't know, I feel like if this was viewed in, say, 1950 and they wanted to see what the future would look like, this would be a perfect representation. Like, you know how old people always complain about the new generation's always doing this and blah blah blah, and back in my day we would have done this. This is literally like, this just says all of that in one picture, so it's just perfect. And yeah, I think this deserves first spot. In second place, it's just a really nice photo. Although there's not much storytelling, I just really love the look of it. And that's okay. Sometimes art, there doesn't have to be a story. It can just look really good. And that's what this photo does. And I give this one second place for me. And in third place, it's the cinema photo. And it is a really awesome photo. It just needs to be fine-tuned a little bit. And I do also feel like that head could kind of, if he was a bit taller and you could see his shoulders, it could give a lot more sense of a person being there and not just a ball of like a head. I think if there was, like, say for example, like an old guy and he had one of those overcoats and he's got like a top hat, I think that'd be a lot better of a subject. But besides that, I think this is a really nice shot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry it took so long. And I'll see you in the next one.